What's good, YouTube? Swiftly here, back with another NBA 2K video. And in today's video, we're actually going to be talking about some newly leaked details about the EA slash 2K college basketball games. I'm going to be showing you guys on the screen right here. You can see the tweet or screenshot that came out a while back where basically EA and 2K both announced, that they were probably going to be jumping back into the college basketball, sphere, if you will. EA Sports tweet, it says, "Bring the madness. Let's run it back. Hashtag CBB college basketball. Hashtag it's in the game." And of course, you see the EA Sports logo on the basketball. And then soon after that, I believe 2K made their own announcement. And then today, here, as you can see right here, I'm showing you guys the 2K subreddit. And somebody just posted new details on the EA versus college basketball game proposal. So I'm just going to be reading you guys this really briefly to talk about, the new information that we have. Now, as you can see on the screen, it says all of this info comes from Matt Brown, by the way. CLC, which is the college licensing company, put out a memo last summer to video game developers to see if they would be interested in making a college basketball game. 3 companies submitted bids. They were EA, 2K, and an unknown third company. Now, I'm going to stop briefly to just talk kind of quickly about that third company, because obviously EA, we know EA, they make Madden, college football now is back. They make hockey, they make soccer, they also make golf as well. And then, of course, 2K, which is known for, wrestling, basketball. They make golf. And then they also have brought back tennis as well now, too, with the Top Spin or whatever games. And then that third company that is unknown, a lot of people online are speculating, and even in this very thread, and I've also seen online on Twitter and whatnot, or X if you want to call it X, that a lot of people are speculating that third company to actually be Sony. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but Sony did have their own NBA series, which was NBA, I think it was called NBA to Life, or NBA Volume 1, Volume 2 to Life, or whatever. I just remember NBA 07 to Life with Kobe on the cover. That's the one that jumps out to me. But I believe they made like 5 or 6 games. They had like a really short series that they were making. It was developed by Sony San Diego. But yeah, they had like a relatively short series, and this was like third fiddle to Live in 2K. Like, this was from like 05 to like 2010, and during that era, that was kind of where NBA Live kind of fell off, and then 2K kind of picked up the ball. So NBA, if you want to just call it NBA the series, the NBA series was kind of third fiddle. They wasn't even really being talked about like that, if I'm being completely honest with you. That was like an afterthought as far as basketball games were considered. You were either Live or you were either 2K, and then towards the end, most people kind of gravitated towards 2K. But that is the third company that a lot of people are speculating online to put in a bid or whatever for the games. Moving on, it says all of these companies signed NDAs, which is just basically saying that they can't talk about the bids. They won't, do anything involving their bids. They're basically tight-lipped. They can't say anything about it or talk about it, discuss it, or anything like that. 2 weeks ago, EA made the announcement of their intention of reviving the game, which we talked about earlier in this video. 2K made their own subsequent announcement, which again we talked about earlier in this video. The announcement was made when the CLC recommended EA to the schools and conferences to make the game after seeing each developer's bid and plan. Before, it was unknown what the specifics of each developer's plans were, but after the CLC recommended this to the schools, 2K broke the NDA and started contacting schools directly. In typical 2K fashion, the CLC then released another memo stating each school's plans for a basketball game. EA's proposal was to have a standalone game featuring all 364 men's and women's NCAA basketball teams. So as you can see here, EA's proposal was to basically make a one-for-one copy of like the old NCAA Final Four games, or if you want a better comparison, EA's college football, 25, how they have all of the, FBB or FBC, whatever you call it, teams or whatever. That's basically what EA wanted to do, to just have all 364 teams and men's and women's teams, in their game. Now, you're about to see just how cheap 2K is. 2K's plan, right? Now, we know EA's plan was to have a full-fledged standalone game, $70 game with all the teams. What was 2K's plan? 2K's plan was to have it be a $15 DLC in NBA 2K with 16 teams in year 1, 32 teams in year 2, 68 teams in year 3. By 2030, 2K would assess the viability of standalone basketball game, though it would have a maximum of 130 teams in the game. 2K would feature at least 160 players in year 1, 240 players in year 2, and 420 players in year 3. EA would potentially feature over 8,700 players who would have the option of opting into the game, like they opted into college football. 2K was offering 2% royalties on that $15 DLC charge to schools. EA was offering 2.5% royalties on a full $70 game. And this just shows you the difference that EA, and again, I told you guys this in my previous videos, that EA is not going to save you, 2K is not going to save you, but EA is at least making an effort. As somebody who used to play Madden, who gave up on Madden, and kind of recently dipped my toes back into Madden by buying Madden 25 on sale for about $20, and I get it. I'm still standing by what I said about EA not going to save us, 2K is not going to save us. But just based off this information alone, you seeing that EA is at least willing to try and get the game out there. And 2K is not even willing to do that. They're telling you that they'll give a $15 DLC and they'll add 16 teams. 16 teams. And it kind of reminds me of whatever year that was in my career, where they added like a bunch of teams, but it was only like 6 teams or 8 teams you could choose from. If you guys know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments down below. But I forgot what year it was. It was like 2K 18 or 19 or 20. It was one of these years 2K. They didn't add all of the teams. They had like maybe 6 teams. It was like Syracuse. It was Kansas. It was Duke. I know you guys remember. If you play my career, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I mean, you could have added all the teams. You could have added at least like 64 or something teams. All they did was add like 8 or 10 teams in. It was like Syracuse, Kansas, Duke, Villanova. It was Kansas, Duke, Villanova, Syracuse, and like another 3 or 4 teams. And it was just like, yeah, they got the major, big, heavy hitter, basketball teams. UConn was in there as well too. They got like the major, big schools that are always competing for college championships year in and year out. But it was like, it wouldn't have killed them to get all of the schools, or, at least like 32 or 64 teams. Remember, it wasn't like you were getting a full-fledged roster. It was just like a little prelude to, my career. The least they could have did was gave us some more teams, even if it was just computer-generated players, which I'm pretty sure it was just computer-generated players. You didn't have real NCAA, because I'm pretty sure at that point there was no NIL deals, if I'm not mistaken. So you couldn't even have real college players in there anyway. So they could have just put 32, 64 teams for that, prelude or whatever, and it would have just added to that experience of being able to play with, Auburn or Alabama or Kansas State, just to, kind of spice up my career. But as you can see, they just don't care about that. All they care about is the money, and all this seems to benefit is, the executives and the shareholders. It says in the new memo, CLC states the EA game would be the most inclusive and would maximize NIL opportunities and revenue potential per the CLC. So again, as I said, like, you can see that no matter what it is, 2K just can't resist being money grubbing. And the thing is, this doesn't even surprise me. It doesn't surprise me because they aren't even willing to donate to, the retired players to get, legend players in like Charles Barkley or Reggie Miller, any of those guys. They're not even willing. And it's like the money that it would take to get Charles Barkley and Reggie Miller and all of those guys, those legend guys that are holding out and not being included in 2K. It's a fraction of the profits. It's a fraction of the revenue that 2K makes. You're talking about $1 billion franchise, right? They're making millions upon millions upon billions of dollars. And you telling me you won't drop $250,000? You won't drop $250K to the retired players? You won't drop $500K to the retired players? They're going to make like 100 times that on VC sales alone, and they're so money grubbing that they won't even drop that to get players in that's going to help, get money and produce revenue. Because now you can say, oh, we got Charles Barkley in the game, we got Reggie Miller in the game, we got this person in the game, we got that person in the game. You won't even put the money in to do that to make your own product better. So it doesn't surprise me in the least when I see information like this being leaked and they're like, oh yeah, well, 2K is basically being, cheap as shit and they don't even want to make a full-fledged game. Like, clearly, just based off the response that we've seen, not just from college football being back, but just from the response we've seen from posts on Reddit, posts and people tweeting about it on Twitter, and even people making videos about it on YouTube. Just that alone tells me that there's clearly a want for a college basketball game, right? Like the buzz that this, and then when they made those tweets, 2K making their tweet, EA making their tweet, the buzz that generated and people were getting hype for a college basketball game, even though we know that this is probably 2-3 years away at a minimum, 2-3 years out. You're talking about, it's 2025. You're maybe, if you're lucky, you're looking at a 2028 release, if you're lucky. Because I remember when they announced college football, and that was like a 3-year wait after they announced it and all of that stuff. So again, you're not saying like, oh, well, we're going to be developing this game. This game is coming out in 2026 or even 2027. If you're lucky, you're looking at 2028, probably even further off than that. For 2K, I don't think so, because again, they're just going to scan some college players. They're gonna do the bare minimum. They're gonna scan some college players. They're gonna just give them, whatever NBA SIGs that they want. They're gonna add the, jerseys and school names and logos and stuff and call it a day. That's probably what we're gonna get from 2K, if we're being honest. But just to be in that setting, that atmosphere of college, even when I think back to that My Career prelude or whatever, when we got to play like those 2 or 3 college games, just being in that atmosphere, even when I played 2K25 and I did the Dynasty games or whatever, and just going back and being in that high school team, high school atmosphere, it's just a different feeling. It just feels a little bit cooler. It feels a little more immersive. It kind of took me back to when I played high school basketball. You know what I'm saying? And it just gives you that, it just gives you a different atmosphere that you don't get from, NBA 2K or NBA basketball. The same way playing college football, it's a different atmosphere from playing, Madden. It just feels different. And it's just nice to have that, in my opinion, option to play. Which is why I'm not mad at them bringing these games back, because it gives you a different option. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, after playing college football 25 and then finally getting Madden 25 and playing Madden 25, I could honestly say without a doubt I prefer college football 25. Outside of the ball hawk mechanic and like the interceptions being OP as hell in college football 25, I still enjoy playing college football 25 way more than I enjoy playing Madden. Online and offline, to me, the game was more fun. Now, I will say that Madden's career mode was probably a little bit more fun compared to college football once you got into the meat and potatoes of it. But still, I'm not mad at them bringing back these games. And again, this is just further proof that 2K just only cares about the money, bro. They only care about the money. They don't care about giving us a good game. They don't care. All they care about is the profits and how much money they can make their shareholders, how much revenue and profits that they can generate. Okay, when you're talking about a $15 DLC. Now, and this is the part that I don't think people are really getting into the meat and potatoes of it. They're talking about a $15 DLC and you're getting only 16 teams. 16 teams, bruh. Like, to me, that's crazy. Like, you're only getting 16 teams. Like, you're not getting the full, you're not getting 32, you're not getting 64, 128 or whatever. You're getting 16 teams, and they want you to pay a $15 DLC pack. And 9 times out of 10, you're not even going to get any extra SIGs or animations or anything. No new dunk packages, layup packages, or none of that. You're going to be getting 16 teams. You might be lucky enough to get some players, like actual college players. They might be facially scanned and all of that. Cool. But you probably won't get no new signature animations, no new jumpers, no layups, no dunk packages or anything like that. And you're going to be right. You're basically still going to be playing NBA 2K, but now we're just going to have 16 college teams added in. Kind of like in 2K18 where they kind of added in like EuroLeague teams and all of that, FIBA teams and stuff. It's just, I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. It has been your boy Swiftly. Please be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more NBA 2K content and, of course, more NBA 2K news. I'm out, y'all. Peace.